These next few videos I'm making will teach you how to conjugate into the past tense. I hope you're excited for our journey into the past. First, a little review. There are 3 types of verbs in Korean: 어Verbs, 어Verbs, and 어Verbs. The infinitive form of every verb ends in da. If you cut off the da at the end of the verb and look at the new last syllable in the verb, then you can determine which of the 3 types of verbs it is. If the last syllable is ha, it's a hada verb. If the last syllable contains a or o, but is not ha, it is an a verb. And if the last syllable contains any vowel other than o or a, it is an a verb. And that's the type of verb we will learn to conjugate first. We start with the infinitive form of an a verb. What is an infinitive? It's the form of the verb that ends in da and translates into to verb. For example, to hide, to lose, to laugh, to make, to give, etc. And we will make it into the past tense. So they will become hid, lost, laughed, made, gave, etc. Those examples I chose really highlight how inconsistent English conjugation is, but don't worry, Korean is much more consistent. Okay, how do we make the past tense? Start with the infinitive, cut off the da. This is now called the root verb. And if our root verb ends in a consonant, we add these endings. Asa, to make the casual form of the verb. Use this form of the verb with friends and people younger than you. Asayo, to make the polite form. Use this form with strangers, people older than you, and people who outrank you. Atsimnida, to make the formal form of the verb. Use this when you're speaking to large groups and people who you want to show an extra level of respect. And if our verb root ends in a vowel, we add the same verb endings. However, the vowels combine in very much the same way they did in the present tense conjugation. I think I will demonstrate this with examples. Here we have verbs with roots that end in each type of vowel. We have one that ends in e, one that ends in u, one that ends in one that ends in a, and one that ends in a. Let's make the casual form. We add our ending, as, and then the vowels start to combine. In our first example, we see what to do with the verb root that ends in e. If we were to try to pronounce it as written, we would say g-a-s. If we were to say it faster, it would be g-a-s, g-a-s, g-a-s, g-a-s. The 2 vowels start to blend together, and you sort of make a Y sound. Don't you agree? And that's what it actually is, g-a-s. When you have a verb root ending in e, it blends with the and becomes y. Now let's look at the second example. It has a verb root ending in u. When u combines with it makes wo. We can easily see that visually. The past tense of this example is 줬어. The third example has an vowel. In this situation, the vowels don't combine. We simply drop the The next one has a verb root that ends in a. In this situation, you remove the so the verb is nese. You could also imagine that getting absorbed into the a. Glorp. In the final example, the root verb ends in We don't need 2 us in a row, so remove the one in the ending. İlösösö. Or you can imagine them glorping together. Glorp. And as for I don't think there are any verb roots that end in If you know one, please share. So that's how you make the casual form. Once you've got that, you can make the polite form by adding yo to the casual form. And then to make the formal form, you take the root verb and add the same formal ending we use for roots that end in consonants. Atsumnida. And the vowels combine in the exact same way they did when we made the casual form. E and combine to make y. U and combine to make wo. When we have an verb root, we get rid of the When we have an a verb root, we get rid of the And when we have an verb root, we get rid of the second When you're conjugating these verbs, the vowels always combine the same way, regardless of whether you're conjugating into the casual, polite, or formal forms. If you watched my video on conjugating verbs into the present tense, the vowels combine the same way there too. Here it is, summarized all on one page for you. And then we can make short sentences with these past tense verbs. For example, I hid or I lost. We just need to add the word I, which is na in the casual form and jo in the polite/formal form. And if we want to sound like we really know how to speak Korean, we add subject markers, un/nun or e/ga. If this is going over your head, please watch my video on subject markers in the description. Now let's summarize the conjugation rules we learned for past tense. To make the past tense, start with the infinitive and cut off the da to get the root verb. If the root verb ends in a consonant, add one of the following endings to make the casual, polite, or formal forms. If the verb root ends in a vowel, you add the same endings, and then the vowels combine like so. If the verb root ends in e, the two vowels combine into y. If the verb root ends in u, the two vowels combine into wo. If the verb root ends in the simply disappears. If the verb root ends in a, don't add the at all. If the verb root ends in only use one don't add another. But really, that's all there is to conjugating verbs into the past tense. Cut off the da, add one of these endings, and then, if necessary, the vowels combine. Here is a list of 40 verbs. You can practice conjugating as many or as few as you like. Past tense conjugation of all 40 are in the comments section. Take advantage of all the links I have in the description. Thanks for studying with me, everyone. 안녕히 계세요. The lesson is over, but I wanted to point out something cool I found while I was making it. One of our examples, s, has a syllable block with 5 characters in it. That's the most you could possibly have. I always knew it was possible, but I didn't actually know any words that had 5 characters in a syllable block until I made this lesson. I feel like I'm like a marine biologist who's seeing a giant squid for the first time. We always knew the giant squid existed because we've seen pieces of it in a whale's stomach, but this is our first time seeing it swim around in the ocean. There are 3 more verbs on my list whose past tense conjugation contains a 5-character syllable block. Can you find them? It's like hunting giant squid. This verb, 쓰다, by the way, has more than one meaning. I have it translated as to write, but it also means to wear on the head, and to hire or employ, and it's the adjective to be bitter, as in bitter taste. I hope this post-lesson ramble has been enriching for you. Please comment if you liked it, or not. 안녕히 계세요.